waiting for a coffee. Hey there. Hey there, record living friend. It's Brian from TokyoRecordStyle with the Family Cafe from Family Mart. Getting a coffee on my early morning drive down the 246, I think this is, to take my kid to school. And yeah, this is a daily live stream that I do. Hold on a second. Welcome to my car. I'm going to change the audio signal here. Sea Fury in the house. What's up, dude? Good to see you. So, welcome to the weekend. Welcome to the future. It's Saturday morning. I should be home watching cartoons and eating cereal if it was 40 years ago. Speaking of 40 years ago, I'm 50 this year. Later this year, I'm gonna be celebrating a 50th birthday. That's pretty good. I'm pretty stoked. I made it to 50, at least. Well, knock on wood. So I got into the habit earlier this year of live streaming every day, and it's been a very interesting experiment. And I live stream to a select group of homies who all are supporting the channel in various ways, whether they are on Patreon or they're on members or they've come on the Tokyo Record shuttle tour service, or they're hosting my website, or you know, sponsoring some aspect of my project or whatever. So if they're helping me in some way, then they get access to these live streams that I'm doing for them. And it's a little bit of a just insular, for lack of better words, a little more friendly. It's a friendly little circle. But every day, I don't really make an itinerary. I don't make an agenda to talk about. I just go for it. But as I'm driving to school and as I'm just thinking about my day ahead, I think about what kind of musical ideas I happened upon either that morning or the day before, or maybe the days ahead. And I make a little mental list up of the things to discuss. And on today's drive to school, I just dropped my kid off at school. She's got school on Saturdays, and she's got final exams, like a less than a half day, but she's got to come and do a little half day. I especially didn't have anything to riff on. I had really a blank, like, Ghostbusters sort of don't nobody think of anything sort of moment. And my mind was really blank. And so for that reason, I thought, hey, why not dare yourself to go on to the public live stream as just a way to be accountable to yourself, to see what might happen, to just, have fun with it. And this is the daily stream that I do every day, but I'm doing it today in the public space just for shits and just to dare myself, and without anything really, any direction. So I encourage you, when I get to a stoplight, I'll read some comments, and if you have anything you want me to riff on, or you have something that you want to touch on, then just leave a comment and maybe I can have a think about it. I'm actually I'm in a weird little pocket of Tokyo right now. This is there's Shinjuku off in the distance over there. And this area, this is Shinano-machi. You'll see this big circular building right here in front of us with the big circular um, feature on the front of the facade here. And then behind it, there's another kind of interesting building. I'll leave the camera this way. This is Sokagakai town. Sokagakai is this sort of new age philosophy religion that I don't know well about, so I really ought not to say too much about it, but it's something maybe akin to like Scientology. Perhaps it's somebody's kind of it's called in English happy science. And they run this whole little area of Tokyo, and they have their own hospital and their own universities and their own banks and their own little universe. And yeah, this is it's known, it tends to attract a kind of searcher, maybe, you know, a kind of searcher person. And they're you know, they're like, it's, yeah, they're everywhere. It's kind of like a, yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. A new age thing. It's a little bit of a new age thing. And they probably have some beautiful tenets of their philosophy. I don't know anything about it, but it probably takes a bit from Buddhist ideas, probably takes some Christian ideas, probably takes a handful of philosophies and sort of mashes them together, and has this way of life. It's a way of life on the bus. And they probably have some way that they do their thing. And I think it costs quite a lot, you know. I think it costs, you know, you got to pay your dues, and you have to buy their little thing that you put in their house. You have to go get, you know, calibrated by them, and it all costs money, you know. I love this this George Carlin bit that he's like, all the great, you know, the biggest bullshit story in the world, religion. We're talking about one bullshit story. I mean, holy shit, you know. And he says, all powerful, all knowing, all omniscient, can do anything, just can't handle money. he can make he can make the day, he can make the night, he can make a plan for you, but he just can't handle money. I was lucky enough to see Carlin once, and yeah, he was a hero, Carlin. Um, so anyway, I was just driving through Sokogakai town. I haven't hit a red light to be able to read a comment or two. The other thing that is just out there in the zeitgeist at the moment is the Paul McCartney record. Don't I listened to it yesterday. Don't have much to say about it. Only listened to it once, but I see a lot of people making content about it. Hodo Hodo official, Ohio. What's up, dude? Nice to see you. Hodo Hodo in the house. James Farley in the house. What's up, dude? Good morning. Yornimer's in the house. Good to see you guys. Gary Harris. Gary, I'm rocking the t-shirt. Now you'll say, like, hey, weren't you rocking that t-shirt yesterday? I actually had a meeting yesterday, and I didn't think the skulls were appropriate for my meeting, so I took it, I changed, and now I'm wearing it again today. But I'm not wearing it 2 days in a row, don't worry. Wild looking circle building. Yes. Okay. Greetings from Asakusabashi. Happy go lucky. Okay. Wicked. Asakusabashi. Very cool. Asakusa is like Asakusa. That's a mouthful. Asakusabashi. Asakusabashi means Asakusa Bridge. Asakusa is the name of a town. Mark Glassman. They call that a cult, Brian. It's not a, it's, I don't know. No comment. I'm neither here nor there about it. I don't really know. This is kind of I'll get to another stoplight and I'll show you guys. But for now, I'll take you through. This is kind of central. We're just west of the Imperial Palace. And I'm gonna take you over to the Imperial Palace, and I have a little bit of time to kill before I have to pick up a client. at 9:30. So we can just do one quick stroll around town. This is kind of college town, one area of college town. This is Yotsuya, and over on the left is Sophia University, which is a famous university for international students. A lot of international students study at Waseda. They study at ICU, International Christian University. They study at Sophia. They study at uh, what's the other one? There's a couple other United Nations University and yeah, Tokyo University. Keio has a big international program, but there's heaps of colleges and universities in Tokyo City. There are just tons. And it's hard to even keep them all straight. There's like, there's liberal arts schools, lots of them. There's technical schools like crazy. There's, medical schools and law schools and dentistry schools and veterinarian schools and nursing schools and you name it. There's a university in Tokyo. So there's a lot of a lot of academia going on here in the big city. I mean, this is really a country, this city. It's like a city country, It has a it's teeming with everything. I am one of us. Nice to see you, dude. Hey, Zezuko in the house. What's up, buddy? Oh yes, Gary, I love the t-shirt. Okay, I went to Fender Harajuku yesterday and got a mystery and new guitar amp. I got myself a new guitar amp. I've seen you had a hand in designing the building. Is that right? Oh shoot, no comment on that. Not really. Not really. But I've I'm very friendly with the Fender folks. The Fender showroom is a really cool space, and it's a really cool concept. Fender has only ever sold to distributors like Guitar Center over its 60-year, 70-year career. More, yeah, 70, yeah, something like that, 70 some odd years. And for the first time ever, they wanted to open up a flagship store, and because Japan buys a lot of Fender products, and they're a giant market. In fact, I think they're number one in Asia, and they're number one in the world as well. And so they've built a very unique, one of a kind Fender flagship store in Tokyo in Harajuku, and it's 5 floors of guitars and amps and original goods, and there's a live house and a custom garage where you can build your own guitars, and there's techs and famous people showing up, and there's in-house concerts and all kinds of fun stuff. So right here in front of me is the Imperial Palace. There's a giant moat that is around the palace, and I should take you. Gosh, should I do that? I'm here in the turn left lane. The turn right lane is really the way to go. Maybe I'll do it. I'll just risk it. Please let there be no cops. Sorry, I know, it's bad juju. Sorry about that. So over here on the right is the National Theater. I'll show you just a little bit. It's behind the trees here. You can't really see it. And then right over here, the Supreme Court. This is the highest court in the land, and it's quite impressive. And then it has kind of a yeah, everything. All the trees are all in bloom right now. So, and then over there's the Diet Building. You can just see the top of it. Can I zoom in? There's the top of the Diet Building. In Japan, that's where they make all the laws. That's the Congress building. That's where they vote and they meet together. And then over here on the left side is the moat that goes around the city, and it's right here in the middle of the city. Ooh, there's a Rolls right in front of me. There's a Rolls Royce Phantom. That's a $250,000 car. Woo wee. So where was I? I was talking about something. I got a little sidetracked. Sokagakai, yeah. Oh well, yeah. I did hear something that kind of caught my. I'm gonna turn this back around. That caught my attention just in passing. I was actually somebody reviewing the new Paul McCartney record, and he said he kept repeating, I bought this. I didn't get this. It wasn't a freebie. I bought it. And then he said also, this is my own review. Nobody told me what to say. And he was like, hold on a second. Here's the is the diet building gonna pop up? Can you not see it? I guess you can't see it. It's up there. And then this is the big FBI building. You've seen this before. Let me clean the glass here a little bit. Sorry. Which this one. And he said, you won't see any, it's just me, just little old me. Uh it's you won't see any AI on here. These are all my own ideas. No, it wasn't Mazzy. I just saw a comment pop up. It wasn't Mazzy, it was somebody else. He was saying, I didn't watch Mazzy's video yet, but he said something about how no AI, no AI thumbnails, no AI comments, no AI music. He said that, and it wasn't anything all that special, but it made an impression on me that he just was selling the fact that it was not AI, and that was interesting to me. So here we're rolling up on the Marunouchi. This is an area of Tokyo. This is the Imperial Palace to the left, and the Marunouchi sort of financial district and big business to the right. And everybody's out here doing their morning running clubs out here around the palace. It's a 5K run around the palace. And yeah, welcome to Tokyo. This is Tokyo. So over here is the palace. Is actually, there's no like giant castle, but over there behind those trees is just a kind of a modern, I think almost like mid-century home, a ranch house, if you will, and with lots of other properties and inner gardens. But you'll see a little tiny green building over there, a little tiny green building with or copper tin, copper roof, oxidized copper roof. That's the police box. Okay, okay. And junior high school students come from around to go see the palace. And it's a nice day, and it's a nice part of the city, and the oppressive summer heat is really not upon us yet, but it's coming any day, and we're all nervous about it. It's not a fun aspect of the city. It's really, really oppressive because the city is a giant heat sink because of the air conditioners and the concrete and the glass, and it when you get out of the city just a few, just a little bit into the suburbs, and as soon as you like get into the forest, like, because Tokyo's actually, it's 23 like downtown cities. It's like 11 villages, or 11 towns, and like 5 villages. It's quite a big state. And if you go out into the far west part of the Tokyo prefecture, there's some lovely, really lusciously green bamboo forests and pine forests, and it's really nice, and it's much cooler. And if you can get out there several times a year through the summertime especially, it's survivable. But the city gets, I mean, it gets really hot, and people come from all around the world that know heat, and they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize. Like, I knew it was hot, but I didn't know it was like this hot." like, yeah, it's hot. And it just like it grabs on and it never lets go. And it's like just one day it finally breaks. And you're like, oh God, it's over. The worst is behind us. So we're just driving here around the palace, and I'm gonna go to the Budokan, and I'm gonna have a little stop there and show you guys the Tokyo Budokan. And I've shown it a bunch of times here on the channel, but it's a nice little pit stop, and I can just kill a little bit of time before I have to go pick up my homies. So yeah, AI. I was thinking about like that's a flex. This is not AI. I'm not AI. I don't use AI. And it's on one hand, you could see it as like, oh, well, prepare to be left behind, you know? But I also kind of dig it that it's like somebody said, no, no, you won't find any AI here. I dug that. There was something about it that was like, yeah, power to the people, power to the humans, which made me kind of like, yeah. So, and then the Paul McCartney thing came out, and something that made me think about some idea that I was having about the Paul McCartney is that I saw him on Zayn's show, you know, from Apple Music. I saw him on BBC. I saw him on the girl who does like the chicken wing dating thing, the chicken tender like dating thing. I seen him on a bunch of places I wouldn't suspect seeing him. Like, oh, he was on Colbert's last show. He's all over the place, and he's always all over the place. Paul McCartney's like Dave Grohl now. Like you can't like look left or look right without seeing him. He's everywhere. But I was wondering about the of like overexposure, and can Paul McCartney ever be overexposed? And he got asked about in an interview that I listened to him. He got asked about fame, and he said, you know, of course they all loved it when they were young, but at one point he realized he was never going to be able to, like, he was going to be famous for his whole life. He was like, oh my God, this is like not going to go away. I'm going to have this forever. I better figure out a way to deal with this if I'm going to, you know, keep myself. And I didn't, I thought about that. Like, what would it be like to realize, oh, you're not just famous for a moment, you're famous forever. It's like you can't really become unfamous once you're famous, you know? It's a forever thing. Oh yeah, he was a guest on Saturday Night Live. I see coming up. I'm gonna stop here for a second and we can read some comments. So dun 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 dun. Welcome to the Tokyo Budokan. There she is. Dun 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 dun. Speaking of Paul McCartney, played here in 1966, I think is the year. So let me just stop here for a second. Somebody's gonna come and tell me to move along, but I'll get out for a second. Oh, now you can't see the top of it. Let me just get the hazards on. I know, I know. It's quite a brutal building. It's quite a, you know what I mean? It's very, very concrete. It's not very wooden and old and Japanesey whatsoever. And it's got this big gold ball on the top of it. Okay, so there's the Budokan. Let me see what your guys' comments are. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've only seen a couple shows here. Um, yeah, people are just stopping and checking it out. Okay, let me see. So let me get back to some of the comments. Sorry. Let's see, my social media is awash with this Paul McCartney album, right? Personally, I think these days he releases music just to release music. C Fury says, I can kind of relate. One of my musical heroes, Trey Anastasio, a fish, he's like so prolific. He's got that affliction where he just has to like put music out all the time. So I can relate, and he's got nobody there to tell him no. And so yeah, I can understand how. I mean, I can't really understand, but I can appreciate that he's just got, if he's got music to make and life to live, why not? Michael Pilmer in the house. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. I caught Michael Pilmer. I know you. Michael Pilmer does really well for himself on YouTube. He's got a lot of followers. Been around for a long time. He's a devotee. He's like Yeah, but I dig on his vibe and I dig on his show, and he's, yeah, very well established. I'm not so deep into Michael Pilmer that I've know all of his, like, he's got a whole universe of things to know about his channel and things to know about his videos, and he's got like hardcore followers, and he's got his chapter, his, various things that he does, his, bits that he does throughout his show, and I assume has been doing for years and years, and one of them that I have kind of gotten especially attuned to recently is noise. He's got the noise moment in his show where anybody in the peanut gallery can be welcomed onto the channel and bring a musical instrument with them or a noise making object and can come and contribute to the noise jam, and it's really really fun. If you guys aren't already following Michael Pilmer, go get all notifications and um make sure you check out his show. It's pretty fun. It's got kind of a public access TV vibe to it. He's got a real good stage presence. Gary Harris and C Fury. Mark Glassman, good to see you, buddy. What a cracking day, though. Yeah, it's nice here. Do you ever go surfing in the summer? Man, I can't say I do. I really I go to the beach a couple times a year. My wife's from the beach, and we do go to the beach. And I have surfed in Japan, and I have surfed elsewhere in the world, but I'm not a regular surfer. But I'd like to. It's something I would love to explore more. I'd go surfing every day if I could. My social feeds are filled with surfers. I watch surfing all the time. I love watching surfing, but I don't really surf and skating for that matter. And then I don't skate all that much either, but I love watching surfing and I love watching skating. And let's see. Power to the mutants. The mutanchis? Who are the mutants? Power to the mutants. I've missed the comment. Okay. I saw that's good to see, Grasshopper. I saw Paul play last October and he ruled. Played Beatles tracks, every other song. Wicked. Awesome. Yes, Gary says he was on the finale of uh SNL. Whoa, Budokan, says Grass. Sea Fury. I've only listened to two songs from the new album. I don't know, but it was pretty meh. Okay, there's a hot take. Sea Fury says Dungeon Boys is meh. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was bad. Yornimer says they should officially release those Beatles shows at the Budokan. Shot on early video, I believe. Yeah, I mean it was pretty cool. You can go watch them on YouTube. They're out there. And they're really fun to watch. The costumes that they're wearing are quite funny. It's in color too, which is kind of cool. That early Pink Floyd show was there. Yeah, so many legendary shows are at the Budokan. I would love to watch the show they play there. You can watch it, Hodo Hodo. You can watch it. It's on YouTube. It's out there. It's been like bootleg to death. I'm DJing right now. Going track for track with my partner DJ. Nice, dude. Hope you're having a nice set, both of you guys. Yornimer, those Beatles Budokan shows were only officially released in Japan on VHS and Laserdisc. Okay, Yornimer knows what's up. Weird there hasn't been a release with cleaned up video. Okay. And then Hodo says, "Oh, nice. Yeah, I skateboard and surf. Looking forward to the beach this summer." Yeah, that's gonna be the nice thing to do, is to get away from the oppressive heat of the city, and get down to the beach. A lot of people go to what's the name? I never remember the name of this town. Ah, Hayama. Hayama's a really famous place that people go, And Hayama is famous for just like chilled out vibes. And I don't know how well this Chigasaki has like decent surf. And I mean, look at this thing. It's kind of ugly, you know? It's kind of like tacky in a way. It's got, I mean, it was built in 1964, I think, or it was built, it's like a couple years before the Beatles came. And the reason that the Beatles played here was because they, they, Brian Epstein demanded that they have a venue that held 10,000 people. So there you go. I don't know. It's just legendary. That's the thing. It's not especially, but yeah, every time I come here, I kind of mention that the story goes that the audience, there was nobody allowed to sit on the floor. There was nobody on the like ground seating, like GA. There was no GA. It was all everybody sat in the stands, and they weren't allowed to dance or stand up. And there were like police officers with these like long sticks, and every time one of the girls like had went, you know, had a little frenzy, they'd like sit down. It was like, and of course the Beatles were like said to be desecrating this holy place because the Budokan is right next to the Imperial Palace. Oh, and the when you and sumo, it's a sumo it's a sumo place to have a sumo tournament and or a martial arts, judo and karate and this kind of thing. It's a sports arena for traditional Japanese sports. And so the right wingers were very upset that the Beatles were coming and desecrating this holy place. But the other half of the city said it's hardly holy place. It was built 2 years ago, and it's all doesn't have this legacy of 500-year heritage or 1,000-year heritage. It just got built last year. So they came and they played 4 nights, I think, and they played I think 2 or 3 sets a day, and they were like short 40-minute sets. And at one point, I think John Lennon says, "Good to be in Hong Kong." I've never heard anybody like give him a hard time about it. But if I've watched the shows, and at one moment he says like, "So happy to be here in Hong Kong." And I don't know if he's just like being a goof or if he really meant that or what. But they couldn't explore the city at all because the Japanese fans were so crazed and they had to stay in their hotel the whole time. And the hotel where they stayed, like the building where they stayed has since been torn down. And but there's like a little museum inside the annex of the new place that says that the Beatles stayed there. And uh, they stayed in their hotel room the whole time that they were here, the 5 days or however long it was. And it was the only time that the Beatles ever like collaborated on a visual artwork together. They sat in and they for charity they made like a an artwork that they all painted on. And it's kind of weird. It's not virtuosic at all. It's they've divided the painting into sort of 4 quadrants, and each Beatle took a quadrant, and it's out there. You can search Beatle artwork, and it will pop up. It's not particularly, but it exists, and it was the only time that the Beatles did that apparently, and um, it was because that they were stuck in the hotel room. And there's a funny story. I met the guy who a very old timer in his 80s, and he said that he told me a story about how his wife he wasn't crazy for the Beatles. The he loved Buck Owens um and Woody Guthrie and like I forgot who, but he rattled off some like he loved like American Elvis. He was an Elvis guy. And Um, but his wife, who was his girlfriend at the time, was crazy for the Beatles. And he remembers that, like, when they were kids or when they were young, she scaled the hotel where they stayed. She climbed up the, what's that called? The lattice fine, thing. And she it broke and she fell off a second story, like nearly a second story balcony, and broke her arm and like missed the Beatles shows because she was like in trouble with the police for for scaling the thing, and also for yeah, like trespassing and yeah, she just got in trouble. So we're here. These are all cherry blossom trees. They're all quite nice, and there's a lot of cars on this road in the summertime or in the springtime when the cherry blossoms are all blooming. But it's very, very nice, and all of these runners are in little groups and clubs, and they're coming around and they're doing like one or two or maybe even four lap. They're doing either just like 5K runs, or they're doing like, half marathons or whatever. Some of them are training, some of them are. There's the moat, and um Hodo, I don't about the question about Fender, I don't I'm connected to the project, but I had nothing to do with its design, or I should say I had very, very little to do with its design. But I work closely with some people who were more closely involved with it. And I don't really, it's not that I don't want to like talk about work, but I keep my work life and my YouTube life a little bit like in separate buckets. Okay. So I'm relying on Tokyo a little bit to give me some ideas for this stream of consciousness riff-raffing. Yeah, so normally I'll have a thing I want to chew on, and I'll go to town on it a little bit, and I will. But today I didn't have anything, and in the in the space that I'm doing this in the with the homie space, we have a Discord that we all gather on, and it's really groovy. And what's particularly groovy about it is that all the people that are in there are like on the level. Everybody's like yabai, yabai, wicked cool and super knowledgeable. I feel like we have the uh coolest kids um like out there in the tubes. So I'm very, very stoked about this. And we have various channels for various conversations. There's about a dozen different conversations going on. Some of them relate to recent acquisitions. Some of them relate to like gear and hi-fi stuff. Some of them relate to books. Some of them relate to like introducing ourselves to each other and just like a little bit of personal stuff. And one of them relates to a kind of game that we play called Top Five Records. And you know the game. It's from the Nick Hornby novel High Fidelity and movie by the same name with John Cusack, or Cusack, however you like to say his name. And we do top five records for a Monday morning, or top five records for a Tuesday afternoon, or top five records about death, or so on. And we have so far done 31 editions of it, and I'm very proud of that. Bryce in the house. Hey everyone, happy Friday, early Saturday. Nice. I really need to throw in all the albums I've gotten lately. Yeah, Gary, go for it. Gary's hanging out there, Bryce is hanging out there, Hodo's hanging out there. Hodo. I gotta get Hodo into my vocabulary. Hodo means the way something is. Hodo. I gotta burn this. It's a Japaneseism. It's Hodo Hodo. I think it's like actually it's an onomatopoeia. I gotta kind of crack it again, but this week's prompt, we took a 2-week hiatus after doing 16 consecutive editions of top 5 records, and I needed a little break. And so we took a 2-week hiatus, and now we're getting going again. And it is this week's theme is where no man has gone before, or where no one has gone before, to go beyond. It's the Star Trek motto. It's the in a galaxy far, far away is my version of it, being a Star Wars kid. But if you're a Trekkie, then you know the expression, and I'm butchering it. I keep butchering it. To go beyond where no man has gone before. And so it's up to everybody who wants to participate to go through their record collection and pick out 5 records that apply to the theme. They can be songs off the records, they can be records, they can be CDs, they can be musical constructs or concepts, or they can be artists. They don't